Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Ahmed Abdullah and I am foundation level student at Ryan School campus Barakau. Today I am going to talk with teacher Maya and Maya will answer me. I will ask a few questions and Maya will give me answers. So let's start.
Hey there.
Hello Maya, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I'm doing great. How are things going with you?
Okay.
Just
My
okay.
first question.
Sounds like there might be a bit more to the story.
My first question.
I'm all ears.
What does the word sorry mean?
At its simplest, it's an expression of regret or penitence. But it's funny because it's one of those in so many different ways. Sometimes we're actually apologizing for a and other times we're just using it to be polite, even to get someone's attention. Does it feel like a word to you or just
Okay.
a
My second
useful
question.
one?
Where did the word sorry originate?
Let me look into that for you. I've always loved how the word story feels like it covers everything from a quick anecdote to a massive epic, and it turns out it's actually a short version of history. It comes from the Greek word for by inquiry, which makes sense because every good basically just someone trying something out. Do you have a third question on your
My
list?
third question. What is the old English root of the word sorry?
Let me check that. It's interesting how you're circling back to sorry after the detour into stories. The Old English root is sadik, which basically meant being full of sorrow, stress. Actually, related to the word sore, which makes a lot of sense when you think about how emotional pain can feel almost
Okay,
physical.
my fourth
Does that
question.
fit with how you think about the
What
word?
did sorry originally describe? What did sorry originate? Sorry.
I'm listening.
What did sorry originally describe? What did sorry
Let
originally
me look that up.
describe? Yes.
You're talking about sorry, it originally describes someone who was feeling full of sorrow or distressed. It was less about apologizing for a mistake, more about the actual feeling
Okay.
of pain
Fifth
or
question.
grief.
How
Does that
has
make
the
sense?
meaning of sorry changed over time?
It's actually pretty good. It went from describing a deep internal state of grief, basically being sore in your soul, to being a social tool. Now we use it as a polite way to smooth things over, apologize for things that aren't even our fault, like bumping someone on the sidewalk. It's moved from feeling to a formality. I wonder if you think that makes the word less
Sixth
powerful now
question.
that we use it so
Why do
often.
people say sorry?
I think I think mostly about maintaining a connection. Say sorry, we're usually signaling that we value the other person more and we value being right. It's like a social branch to show that we don't want there to be tension between us. Do you think people say it too much? Or is it always helpful?
Okay, my seventh question. Is saying sorry always an apology?
Not quite sure what you mean by an ecology in this case. Are you asking if saying sorry helps keep the social balance healthy, like an ecosystem?
Okay, my eighth question.
It's a
Uh,
cool way.
what is the difference between feeling sorry and apologizing?
That's a huge distinction. Feeling sorry is internal. It's that actual emotion of regret or sadness. Apologizing is the external action, the words you say to someone else. You can apologize without actually feeling sorry, and you can feel deeply sorry without ever saying the words. One is a feeling, the other is a performance. Which one do you think matters more in a relationship?
Okay, my ninth question. Why is
I'm ready.
apologizing why is apologizing important?
It's basically the glue that keeps relationships from falling apart. When you apologize, you're acknowledging that you hurt someone, which makes them feel seen and validated. It turns a moment of conflict into a moment of connection because it shows you care about the other person's feelings. Do you think some apologies are harder to give than others?
Okay, my tenth question. How does saying sorry help repair
I'm ready for number.
how does saying sorry help repair relationships?
It acts like a reset button for the tension between two people. By admitting a mistake, you're essentially saying that the relationship is more important than your own ego. That vulnerability makes it safe for the other person to let their guard down and move past the hurt. Do you think an apology can fix anything, or are some things just too broken to repair?
Okay, my 11th question.
Fair enough.
Can a sincere apology rebuild trust?
It definitely can, but it's not a magic wand. A sincere apology is the first step because it shows you actually understand why the trust was broken in the first place. But I think the apology is just the invitation. The real rebuilding happens in the actions that come after the words. Do you
Okay,
think trust is something that can ever fully return to how it was before?
okay. My 12th question. What makes an apology genuine?
It's all about the lack of a but. The second you say, I'm sorry, but you've stopped apologizing and started defending yourself. A genuine apology owns the mistake completely, acknowledges the impact it had on the other person, and doesn't try to shift the blame. It's more about I messed up and less about here is why I did it. Do you think it's possible to apologize sincerely if you don't actually think you did anything wrong?
Okay, my 13th question. Why do some people find it difficult to say sorry?
Usually it's an ego thing. For some people, admitting they're wrong feels like a loss of power or a flaw in their identity rather than just a mistake they made. It's scary to be vulnerable and admit you messed up, especially if they grew up in an environment where mistakes were punished rather than handled with grace. Do you think it's more about pride or just fear?
Okay, my 14th question. What emotions are often connected with saying sorry?
It's a real cocktail of emotions. Usually it starts with guilt or regret, but there's often a lot of anxiety or shame mixed into that nervous feeling in your stomach before you say it. And then, if the apology is accepted, there's this huge wave of relief and gratitude. Can be a pretty intense emotional ride just for one word. Do you think the feeling? No, they're actually different.
Okay. Um, my 14th
My mistake.
my 14th question. What emotions are often connected with saying sorry?
Let's take it from the top for number 14. It's usually a mix of guilt, regret, and a bit of anxiety, that nervous feeling you get right before you speak. But then there's that huge wave of relief if the other person accepts it. Do you think the relief part, or is it more about clearing your conscience?
Okay, my 15th question. How does culture influence the use of apologies?
That's a big jump to 50. I think we're seeing a shift toward more digital apologies. It's a lot easier to type sorry in a text than it is to look someone in the eye and say it, which can make the apologies feel a bit more casual or even disposable. But as we move toward more AI and automated communication, I wonder if we'll start to value those raw face to face apologies even more because they'll feel more rare and authentic. Do you think technology makes us more or less? I'm a bit lost on the left part. Are you asking if AI?
Okay, my 16th question. Is sorry used differently in different countries?
Let me check on that. It's a great question because it sorry isn't just a word. It's a whole social custom and it varies wildly depending on where you are. In places like Canada or the UK, people tend to over apologize as a way of showing empathy, even if they didn't actually do anything wrong. But in Japan, apologies are often more about maintaining group harmony, and the way you bow can actually show how serious the apology is. Then you have Mexico, where lo siento is more about a genuine emotional connection to the other person's pain. It's wild how one word can mean I messed up in one country and I feel for you in another. Do you think that makes communication harder or more interesting?
Okay, my 17th question. Why do some people say sorry too often?
I think it's usually a habit born out of a desire to be liked or fear of causing any kind of friction. For some, it's like a social shield. They apologize for existing in a space just to make sure everyone else is comfortable. It can also be a way to avoid conflict before it starts. Do you think over apologizing makes someone seem kinder or does it
Okay,
just make them
my
seem less confident?
18th question. Can overusing sorry reduce its impact?
Absolutely. When a word becomes a reflex instead of a choice, it starts to weight. If someone says sorry for every little thing, the word stops signaling genuine regret and starts sounding like background noise. It's like when a song is played too many times on the radio, eventually stop really hearing the lyrics. Do you think there's a better word people could use when they're just trying to be polite?
Okay, my 19th question. What are some alternatives of saying sorry?
There are actually a lot of ways to handle this depending on what you're actually trying to say. If you just want to be polite, excuse me, or me, works great. If you're actually grateful for someone's patience, saying thank you for waiting is way more positive than saying, sorry, I'm late. And for the big stuff, full responsibility feels much more powerful than a simple sorry. Do you feel like you use sorry as default, or do you have a few good alternatives? That's a great way to look at
Okay,
it. A lot of pressure off when you realize.
okay, my 20th question. How do children learn to apologize?
It's usually a mix of watching the adults around them and a bit of trial and error. Most kids start by mimicking what they hear, but the real learning happens when they see the emotional impact of their actions. A lot of times, parents push for a forced apology where the kid says the word without actually feeling it, which can teach them that apologizing is just a way to get out of trouble rather than a way to fix a mistake.
Okay. Thank you, Maya, very much for joining me and giving me detailed answers to my questions. Okay, bye.
You are so welcome.
Okay, bye.
Right back at it. I've really enjoyed diving into
So, viewers, this is my talk season with Maya. I hope you like it. You like this conversation. See you again in another talk season. Take care of yourself. Pakistan Zindabad. Allah Hafiz.